Alrighty, all rise, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call council.
Councilmember Halsey. Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Cade.
Here.
Councilmember Nixon. Here. Councilmember Putnam.
Here.
Councilmember Steiger.
Here.
Councilmember Walker.
Here. Additions to the agenda. And we have an addition from staff.
Yes, it's the ordinance concerning the adopted findings and facts of the subject of the interim zoning ordinance for the marijuana zoning, interim ordinance. And if we could, I'd like to put that at the beginning of the agenda because it follows an hour late.
Okay. And we also have in front of us an ordinance on RV parking. Is that for discussion tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to have a brief discussion on that tonight.
Okay. Let's see, we're going to add a new item 4A, which would be the hearing. And then this would be item after E, which now is F, so it's after G. On parking. Any other?
I'd like to add discussion on a proposed work plan for the marijuana work group.
Okay. Any other additions? All right, then, first item then would be the findings of fact from the hearing on the interim zoning ordinance on marijuana.
Hello, on February 3rd, Hello. On February 3rd, the City Council adopted an interim zoning ordinance concerning the regulation of marijuana uses in the City of Pacific. In general, when an ordinance is adopted, there are several actions that normally precede it. For development regulations, which this ordinance affects being part of Title 20, we have to do SEPA. The SEPA, we have to hold a public hearing, and we also have to establish findings of fact. So, because the ordinance was adopted before the SEPA and the public hearing, we now have to adopt an additional ordinance that sort of pulls them all together and establishes findings of fact. We have a couple of models to look at, and that was actually in the body of the ordinance itself. I've got copies of the ordinance that was recently passed, ordinance number 2014-1855, and you'll see on page 13, section 6, under public hearing, pursuant to RCW's, the City Council shall hold a public hearing on this interim zoning ordinance within 60 days of its adoption or before April 3rd, 2014. The Council hereby schedules this hearing for March 10th, 2014. During the next Council meeting immediately following, the City Council shall adopt findings of fact on the subject of this interim zoning ordinance and either justify its continued imposition or repeal this ordinance. So we've got a very tight deadline now. These findings of fact will be brought to the Planning Commission, who are meeting tomorrow night, and I will bring them with your permission. Well, actually, I'm not going to be here. Someone will present them on Monday the 24th for council review and hopefully approval. And I'm going to pass out, for those of you who don't have a copy of our latest interim zoning ordinance, I'll pass that out in as many copies as I have of the Planning Commission marijuana work group outline. I'll return with more copies.